Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 2 of Wicked Wednesday, Season 3, here in Monaco. I am It's Chocolate, and I will be commentating today's race. We are here for the short qualifying session. Weather's looking like it's going to be a spicy one today. As we will be getting some rain coming in the race. So that it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into everybody's strategies. But yeah, we're going into Q1 now. And we have a couple cars heading out onto track. Ramo, German and Gibbo. The first one's out, William Talbot, also just making his way out onto track as well. Let's get that track map and the lap data up for you. Everybody on those soft compound tyres as it stands. So, yeah. No rain expected in qualifying. Track conditions staying pretty much exactly the same. So yeah, no issues there. Ramo is going to be the first driver to make it round to start his first qualifying lap of the session, I believe, based on where everybody else is. So let's see, coming through towards Anthony Noakes now, as the Williams now sets out to start his first flying lap of the session. Qualifying very important at Monaco. It's very tricky to overtake in the race. So these guys are going to be really keen to put a nice lap together here. Get themselves a decent slot on that grid and hopefully set their race into motion. Coming to the end of Sector 1 now, towards Mirabeau. Obviously it's the fastest sector as he's the first one through. We'll see what the Haas behind does in comparison. So, Wicked Wednesday obviously being a realistic performance league, the cars are going to play a factor in it. Still currently though, the Williams holds the fastest first sector time. Couple tenths up on the guys around who have gone through. Coming into Sector 2 now, a little bit of traffic in front of the Williams here of the Ferrari, and that's a very big impeding there. And that is Colorocco. Unable to get out of the way there. I think that one's going to get investigated by the stewards. Unfortunately, that has cost Ramo his lap, and he's back into the pits. So let's go to the Haas of German. He's been caught by Gibbo, actually, so that's probably cost Gibbo his lap as well. But let's see, as they come to the line, it's going to be an 11.7 for Gibbo, 14.2 for German. So you can see the pace differences of 109.9 though for William Talbot in that Mercedes, getting a very nice lap together there. Who else do we have on lap? We've got Crossfrog coming through to back now into the swimming pool section. Let's see what he can do here. Currently, his first two sectors looking decent. About a second and a half off of the fastest sectors so far. Looking potentially to get into those 111s here. Let's see as he comes to the line. It's going to be a 112.0 for the Ferrari. Getting himself into P3. And then we have the Alpine of Remote just starting his flying lap. He is going to be one of the contenders for the win here, I think, given his pace. Lord Kenzo now coming through Anthony Noakes. He's got a Red Bull behind him of... I'm not actually sure which Red Bull that is, but he's got a Red Bull behind him. He comes across the line. It's Milano Gamers just behind him. Lord Kenzo sets a 115. The Red Bull sets a 139. Colorocco now to the line is going to set a 1 minute 14.3 for his fastest flying lap of this session. And the German goes faster on his second attempt. Puts himself up a position with a 1:39.09. We have Remote now coming round towards the Nouvelle chicane. Let's see on his flying lap. We'll go on board with him as we go through the swimming pool section. Through to back now. Very close to those walls. Banging them a little bit. Trying to find as much pace as he can here. Let's see into Raskas now. Can he find the time? Try and go faster than Will, despite being in an inferior car. DRS open now on the run towards the line. Let's see where Remote can put his Alpine its second fastest, 1:10.0, only half a tenth off of Will so far. So very good from the Alpine driver, looking very decent as it stands. We have a couple more drivers out on laps now. We have Ferrari Fan, Tyrant and Finkits all on push laps right now. I believe Ferrari Fan is the Red Bull just in front here. So let's see. Coming through the tunnel now towards the Nouvelle Chicane. Tyrant's looking very good through the first sector, matching the fastest sector, which I believe was set by William Talbot. How is Ferrari Fan doing? Slightly slower, just a couple tenths down through sector 1. Sector 2, about 8 tenths down as well. So not looking like it's going to go fastest in the Red Bull, but we could be looking for a 1:10 here if he's able to hook the final sector up very nicely towards the line. Ferrari Fan, so it's a 1:11.7, goes 5th fastest. Tyrant a 1:10.6 in the AlphaTauri, puts him up to 3rd. Finkits sets a 1:11.6, which puts him up to 5th fastest. We also have, we've got the Haas of BPA starting his flying lap. I believe, does anybody else on laps here? What is going on? Tyrant going backwards up Beau Rivage. I'm not sure how this has happened. I'm very confused as to what is going on here. Alright, well, let's go over to BPA coming through the tunnel. Let's see. His sector 1 was a 1:19.0, 6 tenths down. Already losing time to the fast guys. I think he's going to be slotting into that mid-pack where we see Finkits, Ferrari, Crossfrog. I think that's kind of the group he's going to be aiming for here. Trying to get into those 1:11s through Raskas now. Let's see where he's able to place this Haas. Currently 1.8 down on Will, which would put him close to those 1:12s. Let's see as he crosses the line. It's a 1:12.7 for him. Lots of time being lost by these drivers in that final sector. I've seen that quite a few times actually. Just Orini coming through to back now. Is he still pushing? I'm not too sure. I believe he is. So let's see. Into Raskas now. Where can the Alfa Romeo put this car on the timing tower? He's got William Talbot right behind as well, who I believe is also on a push lap. Can he better his fastest lap? No, he can't. That was... his last lap was a 1:10.2, so just a couple tenths down. But I think that'll give him some confidence. Maybe he had no ERS. I'm not too sure what the circumstance of that lap was. Colorocco, half a second up through the first 2 sectors on his previous lap. Coming through the final sector now. Can he find some more time into Anthony Noakes? And now DRO's open to the line. The Ferrari sets a 1:13.6. That puts him up a position now into P11. We have the Alpine of... that's Remote, just coming to start his lap. So we'll see what he's able to do here. We also have... I'm not sure. Tyrant might be on a lap here as well. Looking at his first sector, it's possible. Yeah. So... Remote coming through Portier now. We'll see as we head towards the Nouvelle Chicane. Can Remote better his time? Sector 2 split just on the exit of to back coming up in a second. He's currently only half a tenth off of pole, and he's half a second up on his lap. That track is evolving. He's finding the pace out there. Let's see what he can do now. Coming into Raskas. I think this is one of the make or break corners of the lap, to be honest. Now into Anthony Nogues. To the line. Where can Remote put this Alpine? Is it going to be fastest provisional pole? Yes, it is. It's a 109.3 for the Alpine driver. Very handy lap from him. Let's head over to Ferrari fan now. Coming into the Nouvelle Chicane. Towards the end of Sector 2. He's got a Williams behind him as well. Which will be Lord Kenzo. But now through the middle sector split. Is he finding time again? He's a couple tenths up on this lap. Let's see if he can maintain that to the end of his lap. Milano Games just went 4th fastest with a 1:11.2. He's losing the rear and he's into the pit lane. Ferrari fan not continuing on with that lap. He has bailed out into the pits. So let's head over to Crossfrog. Just coming into the swimming pool now. Not the swimming pool. Into the Nouvelle Chicane. Oh, and he's into the barriers. I think he's broken his front wing. That's going to cost him his lap. We have Gibbo on a push lap as well. Just coming through Massenet, turn 3. Coming to the end of Sector 1. Is he finding the time? He's a 10th down. Through Sector 1. Not ideal. His teammate currently 1.6 seconds clear of him. So he is going to have to find some time here. If he wants to be in for any shot of pole or even the front row, he's about a second off of P2 as it stands. Will and Remote seem to be controlling the pace of this session right now. They seem very comfortable out in front. But maybe there's more time for Gibbo to find through the rest of this lap. Coming through Sector 2, he has set a purple middle sector, I believe. And he's found some time on his previous lap. Let's see now coming into the final corner, Anthony Nogues. Has he got the power down well enough? Can he improve his lap time here? To the line we go. It's not an improvement. He's a 10th down. Only a 1:11.0 for the Alpine. Not ideal for him. So he will stay 4th fastest as it stands. He'll still have time to get back around and go for another run though, if he wants to use a set of tyres to do so. We have 5 minutes left in the session. So I expect to see everybody out at least one more time, I think. To set another lap time. Currently nobody on a push lap here. Everybody just biding their time either in the pit lane or they are on out laps. They don't want to go out too early. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on those ideal track conditions. But yeah, we will wait and see. There we go. German starting a flying lap here. He's at Portier now. First sector for the Haas driver. It was a 19.5, not the fastest, but he is currently down in P12, so it might have been an improvement for him into the Nouvelle Chicane now. Can he find some time here? Let's see how he compares to his previous lap through Portier, through to back, sorry. 3/10 down on his lap. He's going to have to push quite hard through the final sector here if he wants to find the time. Into Raskas. Let's see where he can put his Haas car. Drifting out of the final corner there. To the line. Is it going to be an improvement for him? No, it's not. He's 2/10 down. He found some time in that final sector, but not quite enough for him. Let's head over to Ferrari fan now. Currently coming through the middle sector. He was 2/10 up through sector 1 on his previous attempt. Now he's 3/10 up through the middle sector. Very handy middle sector for him. Almost fastest there. Just a 10th or so off. Now round Raskas and to the line. What's it going to be for the Red Bull? It's P6 of 1:11.4. He found a couple tenths on his previous lap though. Crossfrog, couple tenths down through the first sector. For him, not a great start to this lap as he does now come through the tunnel. We'll see if he's able to find some time in this middle sector, though. Monaco is a very tricky track to master, and you often find that you're going to go fastest on your final lap when you've built up as much confidence as possible, pushing it to the absolute limits. Slightly less worried about crashing out as well, as it will be your last run. AlphaTauri getting out of the way very nicely there. So let's see Crossrock now coming round Raskas, drifting on the exit. They're struggling to get the power down to the line. Now, can Crossrock find some time on that previous lap? It was a 1:12 before. It's a 1:11.9 for him. Doesn't find any positions, though. Not a big enough improvement. Stays 8th fastest. So everybody heading out onto track now. 2 minutes left in the session. Only cars left in the pit lane are Milano, German, and Khalifa. So let's head over to Tyrant, who's just coming through for the first sector. And he has just gone a 10th faster through the first sector. Actually, almost fastest of anyone. Half a 10th off of that. On pace with Remote and Will, though, through Sector 1. William actually not improving through his first sector. Oh, sorry, that was an lap. And Tyrant's gone straight on at the chicane. Made a mistake. That's his lap over. Unfortunate. Hopefully he has fuel. We have a Ferrari fan out. What's happened to him? I think he's gone into the Rosberg runoff there. So he won't be setting another lap here. We have now the Alpine of Remote starting his last lap of the session. Let's see if he can find the pace. We have a couple cars coming around the final sector as well. The Haas of BPA, who I believe is on a push lap right now. We'll see as he is coming to the line. Remote has just gone fastest through Sector 1, drifting through the hairpin. And I don't think BPA found an improvement. Let's see now, Remote towards the Nouvelle Chicane. How much time is he finding on this lap? He currently holds the fastest first and third sector. William Talbot holds the fastest middle sector into the Nouvelle Chicane now, playing it quite safe with the track limits there. Towards Tabac now, flicking it in, scrubbing off as little speed as possible. He's 3/10 up on his lap. Crossfrog has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. Here we go now into Raskas. Can he find the time? William Talbot just behind him as well. Could be in for a shot at pole. Round the final quarter now. Remote to the line. How much time has he found on this lap? It's a 1:09.0. He finds the 3/10. William Talbot into the pit lane. He's not doing another lap. He has no front wing. That is why Tyrant now round the final corner. He's coming into the pits as well. He is missing his front end plate. And then there's a big crash. What's happened here? Colorocco, fin kits, and I believe there was an AlphaTauri involved as well. A couple cars having a crash there at the Nouvelle Chicane. And there's a few guys out now as a result. We have a Red Bull still on a lap, and there's a car retired, and he's been impeded as a result. That's the second time the Colorocco's impeded someone in this qualifying session, unfortunately. And then we have Gibbo now coming through the final sector as well, hitting that inside wall. Luckily, he has managed to keep going. Is he going to be able to find time on this lap? His middle section not looking too great, but it should be enough potentially to give him a shot at improvement. Can he get into the 109s? No, he can't. He doesn't improve on that lap. Too much time lost for the Alpine driver. So, Remote taking pole here in Monaco. That is going to be a sigh of relief for him. By almost a second, actually. 9/10. Remote was clear of Will here. He's feeling very strong going into this race. William Talbot in second in that Mercedes. Half a second clear of Tyrant in third. Then we have Gibbo, Milano, Ferrari fan, Justerini, Finkis, BPA, Colorocco, German, Kenzo, Ramo, Khalifa, and Crossrock in last after that disqualification. So that is your grid for this race now, as we will prepare to start. There is potentially some rain coming right at the end. Given the nature of Monaco, I'd expect a few safety cars, so we could see a rain-affected final stint to this race. It's going to be very interesting to see if that rain does come, if and when it does come. How will it affect the strategy here? Could we be seeing potentially some people taking a gamble onto those intermediate tyres, trying to keep it out of the barriers partially? It's going to be very interesting, I think. We will have to wait and see. But we are just waiting for the drivers to choose their strategies. They'll be seeing the weather right now as well, seeing just a single intermediate rain icon at the end. We hear the beeps now. They have readied up. It will be time to get underway for the formation lap here. And let's see what tyres everybody has chosen to start this race on. We have a mix of tyres here. Giustarini, the only driver on soft compound tyres. Then at the front we have Remote on hards, Gibble on hards, Ferrari fan on hards, William Talbot and Tyrant on mediums, Milano on mediums, and then 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, Giustarini, Finkes, BPA, Colorocco. Finkes, BPA, Colorocco, and the German on mediums, and then Kenzo, Ramo, Khalifa, Crossfrog. Down at the back, opting for the hard compound tyres, go a bit longer, and see how it goes. And Will's already spun on the exit of Casino. Luckily, damage is off for the formation lap, but that's probably not done his tyres a lot of good there. Maybe a little bit of unnecessary wear or temperature that he was not anticipating. We'll see if that does affect his stint throughout this race. Hopefully he should be alright though. Khalifa's been disqualified from the session along with Ramo. They have had a collision somewhere in this lap. Looks like it happened at Portier. But let's wait and see. Light rain in 45 minutes as it stands. It's going to last for about 15 minutes, I believe. So this is going to be very interesting. Whether we are going to see some people taking a gamble onto Inters at the end of this race. Yeah, so the grid is now reforming. I'm just going to do a quick calculation to see how long this race should take with no safety cars. It should take 48 minutes by my calculations. Oh, and we've had a glitch. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we're going to have a lobby restart, I think. Yep, so we will be back in a second. Once the lobby is restarted, we will see you shortly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading down to the grid very shortly for the start of this race. Here we go, as the 5 red lights come on now. It's lights out and we are... What is happening? We have a red flag. Oh, never mind, maybe. Oh. Yeah, we have a red flag here. Well, that's one way to start the race. Alright, so after that, we will be getting back underway in a second. First red flag in Fortune, and it has come as a result of a disconnect. Well, theoretically, hopefully we'll get back underway once that timer reaches 0, but with the state of the game right now, I'm not too sure. Here we go, back down to the grid. It is raining! Okay, here are the 5 lights. Will's cars jump... Remote has a drive-through. We're underway racing now. Will's car's in AI, I believe, and he jumped the start as well. Didn't get a drive-through, though. It's raining, though. There's carnage in the background. There's a big crash. Tyrant is spun round. Everybody's getting collected. I'm not sure what's going on. This is absolute chaos. Absolute, complete and utter chaos. Well, I really don't know what to say. Gibbo's had a decent start up to P2. Will's AI is just ignoring all the rules. I'm not too sure what's going on with that. And then you have a very large gap with Gibbo and BPA managing to get through all the carnage that happened behind. And then we have a second train. Gibbo gets a drive-through for speeding under VSC. So that nullifies his advantage. I think this is probably kind of giving the narrative. We have a 5-second time penalty for Remote for a collision there. And there's a Red Bull slowing. I have no clue what's happening. This is absolute chaos. We have another virtual safety car. And we have... I don't even know what's happening here, to be honest. This is so chaotic. And apparently it's lap 3 as well. We've had 2 safety cars in 1 lap. It's apparently lap 3. Half the cars are missing front wings here. 2 drivers have drive-throughs already. And William Talbot is leading the race by 15 seconds, despite us being under virtual safety car the entire time. His AI is just ignoring the delta. It's also raining, but we're on the dries. This is the most chaotic race I have ever seen. I have no clue what's happening. Some drivers are already pitting for intermediate tyres. And Will is just driving off into the distance. Yeah, we're gonna go for... I'm gonna... So we will be back again when we get back underway for the next time, if this game is still working. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the third attempt at this Monaco Grand Prix. They say third time's a charm. Hopefully that's going to apply here, as we have the 5 red lights again. And it is lights out, and away we go. It's a very good start for Remote, getting a nice jump there. Tyrant having a look on Will to the inside, not able to make that move. Will's into the barrier on the outside of turn 1. Might have picked up some wing damage there. Tyrant now up to P2, sorry, trying a challenge on Remote into Massene, not quite able to make that one stick. Gibbo staying in P4, the 2 Red Bulls fighting behind as well as we go through Casino now. Lots of early moves being made here, although it is very risky. People taking it a bit cautiously in the mid-pack here, trying to keep their front wings intact. A little bit of contact there between Khalifa and the cars around him. He seems to be lagging a little bit, but everybody seems to have made it through the first sector unscathed. Maybe a little bit of end plate damage picked up here and there, but for the most part, everybody seems to be through fine as it stands. Let's have a look at the tyres. Seems relatively similar to we had the first time out. Yellow flags earlier on. We have a collision, I believe, in the tunnel between Kenzo and Khalifa. We have a virtual safety car out after the debris, I believe, in the tunnel. So that will neutralise the race. And we will have to wait and see when it goes. Khalifa's out of the race. I think he's crashed there at Tabak. Will is into the pit lane. I expect he got some front wing damage at turn 1 after trying it around the outside of Remote. And yeah, so he's into the pit lane to fit a new front wing, fit on a set of hard compound tyres, and take them long into the race. We are now green though. Ferrari fan quite close to the back of the other Red Bull there, closing in. Oh, sorry, no, that's Ferrari fan close to Gibbo, not the other Red Bull. Into the hairpin, not really able to make a move stick there. Bit too far back for that one. But he is going to be all over the back of the Alpine, especially down through the tunnel. He's going to have much higher top speed in the slipstream as well. I don't think he's going to be close enough to be making a lunge. You have to be very close, given how narrow this track is. It is so tricky to make overtakes at this track. Kenzo gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That is at turn 1, actually. He is very far behind right now. But Remote seems to be controlling it out in front on those hard compound tyres. 1.4 seconds ahead of Tyrant as it is right now. Already broken that DRS, looking to set some commanding pace. Fastest lap of the race as well for him. But the guys behind are going faster. We had that virtual safety car ending. I believe Remote was on the main straight when that happened. Or maybe they were in the middle of the lap. I'm not too sure. But yeah. Remote was 3 seconds slower through the first sector and fastest through the rest. So that explains why William Talbot says the fastest lap now, 1:15.6 after fitting a new set of hard compound tyres. Unfortunately, it's a bit late for him to be showing that pace given how far he is down the grid there. A nice little battle here currently for the last podium paying position. Gibbo has the Red Bull right behind him. He's in an inferior car as it is right now, but the tricky Monaco track is going to play a factor in this. He's going to struggle to get past here unless Gibbo makes some sort of mistake. He does have the hard compound tyre, so slightly less grip available to him as well. But I think that Red Bull car is just going to perform well enough that we aren't going to be seeing a move made here. Through Anthony Noakes now. The gap is only 3/10 onto the main straight. DRS is enabled for the Red Bull. Could we see a move into turn 1? He's in the slipstream. He is closing on the Alpine, but not close enough to get that move done into Sandevot. Very risky to be making a move there down there. I mean, at any corner it's risky. Of course, it's Monaco. But especially into Sandevot, there is a bump there and it can wash you out quite wide. It's quite tricky. Had a look there, trying to make the move into Mirabeau, but not close enough. Couldn't get the car out. Has a look again. He's all over the back of this Alpine now, going into the Lowe's hairpin. Tried it on the outside. Couldn't find the space to get it to work. Now, could we be seeing a move through the tunnel into the Nouvelle Chicane? He's dropping back a little bit compared to where he was earlier on in this lap. I don't think he's going to get close enough this time around. to be making a move. He is gaining on the Alpine though, had a look for a brief moment, but still not close enough. He's just going to wait, set it up for the next time around, potentially down the DRS. Finkit's also all over the back of the Red Bull. Colorocco and Ramo fighting. Ramo gets 3 seconds for corner cutting, both of them having to go off track. 3 seconds for Ferrari fan as well. He's dropping back a little bit from Gibbo there through the final sector. Finkit's much closer to Milano now as well. Coming down the main straight, he's not going to be close enough though for any sorts of move to be made. They'll just have to sit back and wait. Maybe a mistake there from Gibbo actually. Ferrari fan seems much closer now as they head towards Massenet. But again, not close enough for a move to be made. William Talbot starting to make some moves through the pack. Having a look again, Ferrari fan on Gibbo. He's so all over the back really of this Alpine. Just not able to find a gap to get through. And at the 2 main overtaking opportunities of the lap, he just doesn't get close enough. He drops back a little bit. And it just means he's not close enough to be making the move, trying it into the Nouvelle chicane here, or into turn 1 with that DRS. He just doesn't quite get close enough. Could we see a move this time around from the Red Bull? No, again, just backing out, doesn't want to take that risk. He also already has a 3-second time penalty that he got on the previous lap, so he is going to be having to take it quite cautiously. I believe he got another warning just now as well. Ramo gets a 3-second time penalty. That's his second 3-second time penalty of the race already, only on lap 5. So it's not looking great for him. Finkit's all over the back of Milano now as they come through Anthony Noakes. Could he be getting a run down the main straight? He's going to have that DRS. He's in the slipstream. Could he be making a move? He's too far back. The straight is just far too short for him to be trying that one. Not able to make it work. Unfortunately for him, again gaining into Massenet, but just not able to get close enough. William Talbot, that's another fastest lap. It's a 1:13.0. He's been burning some battery, I think, to try and close in, make some overtakes here as well. Justorini just settling in behind this fight, getting ready to pick up the pieces if it does get scrappy. So Remote currently on lap 6, leading by almost 4 seconds here from Tyrant in P2, then Gibbo in P3, getting chased down by Ferrari fan. Under pressure very much from the Red Bull, who is in P4. And then we have that fight for P5 as well, just behind them. They are actually gaining on Ferrari fan and Gibbo, for Milano and Finkits. They are slightly gaining, ever so slightly, lap by lap. Just gaining a couple tenths, and they are almost at the point where Milano is going to get into the DRS. They might start to form an even bigger DRS train. Justorini also gaining on Finkits. The gaps are closing up. Finkit's very close to the back of Milano. We have yellow flags. That is a Ferrari of Colorocco. He has spun at the swimming pool, and we have a virtual safety car. He's now getting back onto track. But we do have a virtual safety car here after that crash from the Ferrari. I don't know if any other drivers were involved. Ramo is into the pits now to get those soft tyres off. We also have Colorocco and BPA coming in. Nobody else, everybody else was really past the pit lane at that point already, so they weren't able to capitalise. It's quite a short lap at Monaco. Maybe there's a chance that we're going to see some other drivers getting into the pit lane in time. I'm not too sure yet. We will have to wait and see. Remote currently in the tunnel. To be honest, I'm not sure if he would want to pit off of those hard tyres, really. Maybe onto a set of mediums, try and get to the rain. But also, he could potentially just try and take these hard tyres straight to the rain. It's not looking too far away as of right now. Only one DNF so far on lap 7. So not too bad for a race at Monaco. And we have a couple drive-thrus there just popped up. I don't know if that was 1 or 2. Colorocco and Ramo and Ferrari fan. Crucially, he was fighting for the podium. He now has a drive-thru. He's going to have to come in and serve that one. Unfortunately for him, he has picked up a drive-thru there on that safety car, virtual safety car restart. And that is going to cost him big time. He is still pushing though to try and make the overtake, hold Gibbo up a little bit, potentially give his teammate a chance as we head towards Massenet. Having a look to the inside, he's going to dive down the inside of Gibbo. Very nice move from the Red Bull, getting it done on Gibbo there into Massenet, just while he still had a chance before he has to come in and serve that drive-through. Gibbo is going to be a bit frustrated having to fight with a car with a drive-through. but it's not the end of the world. That car will be disappearing very soon out of his way. In the background, we also saw Finkits getting very close to Milano. We have more yellow flags. That is Ramo. No, it's not. It's Colorocco at Raskas going slowly. Ramo just exiting the pit lane. That's why I saw him losing positions, I believe. But this train back into their procession. As we now wait, I assume we're going to see Ferrari fan heading into the pit lane at the end of this lap. If the safety car does come out, he's really... Oh, we've got cars going slowly. Crossfrog and William Talbot coming together in the tunnel. And Haas coming in very quickly. That's the German. He has managed to overtake Crossfrog there. And there's contacts, never mind. They make contacts on the apex. Ferrari fan into the pit lane. And those two cars making contact as Crossfrog was recovering. The German trying to go past the contact on the apex there of the chicane. Ferrari fan is going to come out of the pits down in P7, unfortunately for him. But it seems very comfortable out in front for Remote. Currently 6.5 seconds out in front from Tyrant. And then 5 seconds to Gibbo behind. We've had a couple of virtual safety cars so far in this race. No full safety cars yet, which is what Will is going to be hoping for. He's into the pits again, I believe, to change his front ring. That's the only logical reason I can think of for him to be making a pit stop here at this stage. He is heading out, though, already, so maybe not. But this battle for third place, third, fourth, fifth, only separated by about 1.5 seconds. Giustorini also still relatively close behind, will be closing in as they go through the stint. Remote, though, has a very commanding lead coming into turn 1 now as the car currently in last. Actually, he has already lapped Kenzo in this race. Kenzo currently a couple seconds behind Remote, about to get lapped by Tyrant, unfortunately. For him, and the German and Crossfrog still going at it here. Also, that's BPA and Crossfrog. Did they just hit the wall there on the exit of tobacco? Have they picked up some damage? Maybe. This battle getting quite spicy, and BPA going quite wide. A little tap from Crossfrog. German is going slowly on the exit. That has compromised Crossfrog's line. He's had to go a little bit tight there into Anthony Nogues, and that has let BPA pull a bit of a gap on them. Ramo now coming past Crossfrog down the main straight does get that move done. It seems he's running slightly lower rings than the Ferrari driver, managing to get past there. No action happening out in front between third, fourth and fifth. They are all still just maintaining their positions and don't really have the pace to go for an overtake. It does look like Finkits is getting closer, but not close enough. Ramo getting past BPA at Mirabeau. Very nice move from the Williams driver, getting that move done there. So Ramo up 3 positions in about half a lap. Very neat driving from him, and has almost actually pulled a second to BPA already. He is starting to break away. This train separating out a little bit after that battle they had on the previous lap. I believe as 2 trains came together, a faster one after they had to pit Ali, and then the slower one who hadn't yet. Just caused a little bit of carnage, and we see Ramo now pulling away. And he has managed to break the DRS to BPA behind very nicely for him. Out of Portier into the tunnel. Finkits all over the back of Milano. Could we see a move into the chicane? Yes, we can. He goes to the outside. Later on the brakes, he has to cut the chicane, though. He might have to give that place up. He gets a 3-second time penalty. The Red Bull goes back past. Unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. That has been quite a costly send for him. He was unable to make the corner. Had to bail out, and he got a 3-second time penalty. He might be able to argue his case to get that one removed. He's into the pit lane now, coming in for his first pit stop in this race. I expect we're going to see him in again as well when the rain does start to come down. So Giustorini now inherits P5. He's in for a set of soft compound tyres. He's only going to lose 1 position here to Ferrari fan, but he is going to have a significant tyre advantage. Yellow flags. The German has retired from the session in the Nouvelle chicane. I think he might have clipped that inside wall on the left. We'll see if we can catch up in time. Remote is going to be the first car to get there, but the track is clear now. Green flags are being shown, so unfortunately we're not going to see what happened there. I believe he's clipped the inside wall, or and then just spun it round towards the harbour into turn 1. William Talbot getting past Crossrock. There's contacts and Crossrock is spun into the barriers. He is managed to get it turned back around, but he's just taken his front wing off in the process. And we have a virtual safety car again. Another virtual safety car deployed for debris on the track. And Remote is into the pit lane. This is crucial timing for these guys, making their pit stops. They're being careful not to speed because it is quite a slow pit lane. Remote had front wing damage. He's just repaired his front wing. He will still come out ahead of Tyrant anyway. He had about a 10-second margin. Gibbo is staying out, and he is going to inherit the race lead. He just comes out ahead of them. So does Milano. So Remote is going to come out in P3. Tyrant, I believe, will come out P4. Giustarini in the pits as well. Ferrari fan has chosen to stay out. He's going to come out... oh, that's a lapped car. He's just gone past. So he's going to come out in P5. So it's going to be interesting to see now. Can Gibbo and Milanos take these tyres to the rain? I think that's going to be the goal. Giustarini gets a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. He was the only driver to get one there. Lets his teammate through immediately. He doesn't want to hold him up. And I think he's a bit disappointed in himself, to be honest. Driving very slowly right now. His race is pretty much over unless a safety car comes out. But William Talbot trying to charge his way back through the field. Currently on a set of medium compound tyres. Caught up to the back of BPA here. Let's see where he's going to go for the move. Is there contact there? BPA into the barriers. Contact between William Talbot and BPA. William Talbot just going into the back of the Haas driver. He's into the barriers. He's got front wing damage as well. He's not going to be happy about that one. Might see that getting talked about in the steward's room later on. But this is going to be an interesting one to watch. Remote on with a 12-lap tyre advantage. Catching up now to the Red Bull and Alpine in front. How long is it going to take him to get past these guys? BPA gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That was at the Nouvelle chicane. He couldn't quite make the corner, I don't think. Remote setting a purple sector 1. He is flying along right now. They're also coming up to some lap traffic in the form of Crossrock. So he's going to have to get out the way at some point and let these guys through. But Remote very close to the back now of Milano. Is he going to send it into the Nouvelle chicane? He's pulling alongside. He pulls ahead and he hits the back of Gibbo. He missed his braking point. Went too deep. Did get the move done, but he's crashed. And Tyrant is out. Tyrant has crashed at the Nouvelle chicane. He was running in a net P2 position, and he just hit the inside wall. His front tyre has come off. That is race over for Tyrant. Very unfortunate for him. BPA has just reconnected to the session. I guess he was disconnected. I'm not sure when that happened. Remote's now going for the overtake on Gibbo. He might have picked up some more front wing damage after that incident. At the Nouvelle chicane, the tap there potentially from Gibbo. He is losing the rear. Yellow flags down at Raskas as the Red Bull is making his way into the pit lane. That is Ferrari fan coming in for another pit stop. We are currently on lap 15, but Remote is back into the lead. It's currently an Alpine 1-2. Finn gets a long way back on the new tyres as well. He's going to struggle to be really making any inroads benefiting from having those new tyres fitted. But Remote is now pulling quite clear of Gibbo. Just kind of showing his pace. He does have it here. We've seen it in qualifying. We've seen it in the race now as well, pulling 10 seconds in about 10 laps. And yeah, he's already pulled 3 seconds on these guys. I think he's just going to walk away with this one, to be honest. But we still have this battle, which is now for P2 between Gibbo and Milano. The rain will be coming in about 15 minutes, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays into this race. Whether we're going to see some people like these two, Milano and Gibbo, just trying to stick it out, take the mediums hards that they're running all the way to the rain. They're the only drivers who are yet to pit in this race. And we have more yellow flags. BPA is out. He's retired and left on track. He's retired at Massenet. So he won't be taking part anymore in this race. But this battle still continues on. Milano just dropping back a little bit. He's on the medium tyres now, which are going to start to get a bit more worn. They're going to start to wear out a little bit. And I think he's lost the rear there out of Portier. Dropped back about half a second just through that one corner. Unfortunately, that is going to lose him the DRS. It seems he is starting to struggle for a bit of grip now. We might see him have to make a pit stop in the end anyway. They are obviously going to try and take them to the rain. Finkits is closing rapidly though. Last lap around, Finkits did a 1:13. Milano and Gibbo are doing 16s and 17s. We have another virtual safety car. And that, I'm not sure what that's for actually. Is anybody missing a front wing? Why do we have a virtual safety car? Colorocco is missing his front wing. That is why we have the virtual safety car. I'm not sure where he's lost it, potentially at Rascasse. But it's our 4th or 5th virtual safety car, I believe. No full safety cars yet. And we are back underway, racing again. Colorocco still without a front wing. He is about to get lapped as well. He's going to have to be careful to get out the way of the leaders here. He's not really got a great time to do it either. Gibbo is going to be getting very annoyed with these blue flags. You can hear Sebastian Vettel yelling at blue flags, as they now come through the tunnel. He is going to get out the way of Gibbo. So he's going to be happy about that. Is he going to get out the way of the Red Bull as well? The Red Bull does manage to get around him into the chicane. So no harm done there. But as I was saying before that, Colorocco gaining by a couple seconds on the previous lap. That virtual safety car has just reset them back to square one, really. But it looks like currently we're going to be set for an Alpine 1-2 here. Obviously, still rain to come in this race. It could spice it up a bit. Colorocco changing his front wing in the pit lane. We have yellow flags as well for a slow car. I'm not sure which one it was that was going slowly. But they were very brief. They are already gone. Remote is now leading by 11 seconds now on lap 18. He has those newer tyres to extend his advantage out in front as well. By the time the rain comes, I think he's going to have pulled a pit stop, and unless Remote makes a mistake, it looks like he is set to take a very comfortable race win here in Monaco. But we will wait to see. Remote gets a 3-second time penalty. As it stands, that means absolutely nothing with that 12-second advantage. He probably isn't even phased by that, to be honest. His only worry would be a late safety car. But I don't expect to be having a safety car around still by the time we get to lap 34, lap 35, for it to have any sort of effect. More yellow flags coming out. Again, not sure the cause. I don't think any car was going particularly slowly there. Looking at the minimap, maybe I missed it. But the field is starting to spread out a little bit. Finkits is catching very rapidly towards the back of Milano on those newer tyres. 11-lap tyre advantage. Last time around 2.5 seconds faster than the two cars in front of him. He should be catching by the end of potentially even this lap. He is gaining at a rapid rate. We have Colorocco out in the pit lane. He has retired. Any car that finishes now will score points. So basically keep it out the barriers and you're guaranteed some points. Finkits still gaining on these guys. And I think could be potentially setting up a move by the time we get round for maybe the next lap. We will have to wait and see, though. But Milano into the pits. He's tried to stick it out. Not. He's had to bail out though. He's gone onto a set of hard tyres. Interestingly, despite the rain being on its way very shortly, he has opted for a set of hards. I'm not sure if that was the best strategy call he could have made. That Ferrari has gone a long way from the pit lane, gone all the way through the entire sector 1 until he got to Mirabeau. The car is off the track now, and 19-second lead for Remote out in front. I think it's only 2 seconds off the back of Gibbo for that P2 position after Milano made that pit stop. I think he was going to be caught just about now, to be honest. Would have been under so much pressure through the middle sector and the final sector. And those older tyres just were not working for him. In the end, had to bail out. And he has still come out in P4, though, ahead of William Talbot. So, oh, and Finkis has gone straight on at Raskas into the barriers, and that's front wing damage for the Alfa Romeo. He is coming into the pit lane for a set of softs. Did he have time to select the front wing option? No, he didn't. No, yes, they did. Sorry, it didn't look like they were moving on his front wing. He has been able to change that front wing, but I think that will make Gibbo feel that much safer. Pretty much having a pit window to P3 now. And he's going to be trying to drag these hard tyres as long as possible. Rain should be coming very shortly. At which point I expect we'll see Gibbo, as will we see the rest of the grid, onto a set of intermediate tyres. But yes. Kenzo already pitting for a set of intermediate tyres. It's not raining. It's not going to be raining for about 7 minutes. That's a very interesting decision for him. Not entirely sure what the logic behind that is. I mean, he's almost been lapped. Sorry, no, he has been lapped by Crossfrog in front of him now. So, oh no, which one is he? Yes, he's been lapped by Crossfrog now. He's a lap down on the entire grid, so he really has nothing to lose by doing it. He's not going to be making any overtakes, even if there is a safety car. So he might as well just put some intermediates on, I guess, have a bit of fun. I'm not too sure the exact reasoning. Milano is gaining quickly on Gibbo, though. The gap was 20 seconds when he made his pit stop. It's now 18, something like that. The gap is now only 11 seconds. 1:17.2 for Gibbo last time around, 13.8 for Milano. He's gaining about 4 seconds a lap here, almost. The rain might not come by the time Milano might have a chance to catch it. If he can keep this pace up, I think Milano is going to catch before we see any rain. And that's a mistake for Kenzo. Does keep the car going out of the barriers, but it's looking very dire for him. He's about to be lapped for the second time by Gibbo. Remote already lapped him for the second time. I think this is very much going to be a race to forget for him. Although if he can keep his car going, then it would still be points. So still some positives take from it. Finkit's on the softs, very close to the back of William Talbot on those old mediums now. Could we potentially see a move getting sized up down the main straight here into turn 1 here? He has that DRS on the Mercedes, just not quite gaining enough to be making the move. But now up the hill, could we see... Did he get the better grip out of turn 1? Could we see a move? No, he's too far back not to make it into Mazda. He's going to try and have a lunge around the outside there, showing that he has the grip. I see rain on the track now. I think I've just seen raindrops. He's going to send a dive into turn 5. Mirabeau gets the move done on the Mercedes. Very nicely done by the Alfa Romeo driver. And the rain has started to fall here in Monte Carlo. There are raindrops falling on the track. Still a couple minutes away from intermediate conditions, but we might see one or two drivers taking a gamble onto a set of intermediates early on, just playing it a bit safe. Let's see who is willing to come into the pit lane now. We see Kenzo is staying out. It looked like he was about to pit. Milano stays out as well. He is gaining rapidly on Gibbo. The gap now down to 6 seconds. This rain is probably going to help Milano as well even more because he has so much more grip compared to Gibbo with a 19 lap tyre advantage is what he has right now. And William Talbot into the pit lane now. Is he going to be going for a set of inters? I don't see... Well, else he'd be going for... Yes, he is. Intermediate tyres for William Talbot. He's taking a gamble on an undercut here. Let's see if it's going to work out for him. He's changing his front wing as well. I think he is probably waiting to see as soon as that rain came. Milano now only 5 seconds off. Last time around, he was 3.5 seconds faster. He might be able to close in the next lap or two. I'm not sure whether he'll have the time to overtake. And once they pit, he loses that tyre advantage. He'll still have the performance advantage of the Red Bull, but it's not going to be as powerful. Ramo also onto a set of intermediate tyres. He will get overtaken by Crossfrog, but it's not going to mean all that much, as Crossfrog is still yet to pit for a set of intermediates. I still believe we're probably 1 or 2 laps away from inters. Looking at the track, it's still very dry, and I think we could be waiting a little bit longer before we see any drivers. Gibbo, though, into the pits now. He's giving up on those hard compound tyres, saying, I don't think that a set of intermediates can be much slower than this, and he is going to take that gamble. Milanos now inherits the second place. Remote is 40 seconds out in front. He could, if he really wanted to, pit for 2 different sets of intermediates. Pit once, pit again, and still come out in front. 3-second time penalty for William Talbot for track limits there down at the Nouvelle Chicane. Into turn 1, Ferrari fan round the outside of Justorini, getting that move done. Almost on equal tyres as well. That was pretty much on pure pace. DRS is still enabled while we have this rain. Maybe some damage on one of the cars there. Williams of Kenzo going slowly again. He is really struggling in this race. And now has Gibbo behind on the intermediates. Remote into the pit lane now, deciding to take the call here. He will still come out plenty in the lead ahead of the next car. The next car, the Red Bull, is only just now coming into Sector 3 as he's making his way into Turn 1. He has such a lead out in front. We have yellow flags again for the Williams going slowly, letting the Alfa Romeo of Justorini past. And Remote navigating his way through the traffic on those intermediate tyres quite nicely. Still yet to see DRS get disabled here, so we are going to be playing a bit of a waiting game. Crossfrog is still able to keep up with Ramo, despite Crossfrog being on old medium tyres as well. So that is another indication to me that we're not quite at that switchover point yet. But we are definitely very close. So it's just going to be a matter of time. Justorini and Ferrari fan now into the pits. Milano and Finkits and also Crossfrog much further back. The only 3 cars now on the slicks. And yeah, Milano and Finkits, the only 2 on the lead lap, still on the slick tyres. The next car to be lapped would be Justorini, so it is only actually 3 cars that are lapped. Kenzo is about to go, I think that's maybe his 3rd lap down now. Such are his struggles throughout this race. Crossfrog into the pit lane, so is Ramo though. So Crossfrog isn't going to lose out in this battle. And then William Talbot and Ferrari fan, also Justorini a bit in on this fight as well. Battling it out now in the wet conditions. The track is now wet. We will be getting some inters action here for the last few laps. Milano onto the wet tyres. That is a very bold decision. I don't think it's going to get wet enough for that one. 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit lane line and a 3-second time penalty for track limits. I think he tried to head back out onto track to take turn 1 normally, which is not what you're supposed to do. There is a line there. Remote gets another 3-second time penalty, but that 40-second lead will very much secure this race for him, really. He won't be worried at all about that. So this is probably going to be one of our only battles left in this race. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. DRS is now disabled. There we go. It's going to make overtaking that bit tricky. You won't have that DRS down the main straight. So Remote has 6 seconds, but he is 40 seconds out in front. That's not really going to be bothering him. FinKit, Will, and Ferrari Fan all have 3 seconds. Could potentially give Justorini a chance to make up a position or two here. And then down at the back, Ramo has 19 seconds and Kenso has 3 seconds. So, yeah, interesting with the penalties. Some drivers struggling a little bit more than others. As we can see, some drivers on 4 stops already in this race. But yeah, we will have to wait and see how this race pans out. Are we going to see William Talbot getting overtaken by Ferrari Fan in that Red Bull? Currently looks like William Talbot has the pace to pull away. But it seems a bit closer. And Milano into the pits again. Unfortunately for him, fitting onto a set of intermediates. I think he may have made a mistake there when selecting those intermediate tyres. Just clicked it one too far across. And unfortunately, he is now going to get overtaken by William Talbot and Ferrari Fan as well. Potentially even by Justorini, depending on how long this pit exit takes. I think he will just about come ahead, but he is going to be under pressure as they make their way up Beau Rivage from the Alfa Romeo. Just not quite close enough to be making that move. And Remote laps Ramo again. Let's have a look at the gaps of the leader, actually, just so we can see how dominant Remote is being here. Anyone who's over 112, I think, is lapped. Although, yeah. Remote, yeah, getting close to lapping Justorini and Milano and that group of cars. So he is almost lapping the entire field in this race. The only 2 cars that he might struggle with would be FinKits and Gibbo. Gibbo being the biggest struggle. Only 40 seconds out of the about a minute and a bit required. Remote just showing absolute dominance here in Monaco, showing what can be done. Ferrari Fan into the pit lane. Maybe he's picked up some damage. He is retiring from the race. Not sure why he's done that, to be honest. He would have been guaranteed some points here. But he is retiring nonetheless. So now, Remote starting lap 30 of 39. Looking like a very dominant performance, to be honest, from him. Not really any battles happening on track either, as everybody has sort of spread out a little bit. So, yeah, unfortunately, very little happening as we stand. And Remote's crashed. That's massive for this race. Remote was 50 seconds out in front, and he's crashed. Gibbo is going to inherit the race lead in about a minute's time once he manages to catch up. Remote has thrown the race away. We said it early on. Remote almost certainly has the pace to win this. And we saw that. Remote has thrown it all away. He's hit the wall in the Nouvelle Chicane. And that is race over for AMS Remote. Gibbo now coming through the tunnel. It's going to be the race lead for him. The next car behind, FinKits, but he has a 3-second time penalty. So Gibbo will inherit the race lead now. With FinKits now in second. we might see a fight potentially for this race when Gibbo losing the river a little bit out of the swimming pool there. This race has just got a little bit exciting as now a few cars coming into this battle, although it is really only Finkits who would have a chance here if he is able to close in on Gibbo. But as we saw with remote there, it's not over until it is the checker flag is shown. We will have to wait. Will is now into the pit lane, so that will let Milano back onto the podium after that mistake he had earlier on. Justerini will also go past. Will is going to come out in P5. But Gibbo now out in front, but going significantly slower than Finkits behind. Finkits is gaining rapidly. Has Gibbo picked up some damage here? I'm not sure what has happened. But Gibbo is losing pace at quite a rate. Maybe he picked up some damage when we saw that he lost the rear through the swimming pool. But if his pace continues like this, Finkits might have a chance to take the race win here, actually, despite his penalty. Let's just check how long that penalty is. It is only a 3-second penalty. So it is now lap 32 out of 39. Can Gibbo hang on here? It is Monaco. It is possible to defend here, but it's going to be a tricky one, especially if he's carrying some wing damage. Last time around, Finn gets 2 seconds faster. He is gaining at a rate of knots. And at this pace, we might even see potentially Milano getting in on this one as well. Depends how bad it gets for Gibbo. If he is carrying some damage, maybe he gets it worse, and he might have to even make another pit stop. We will have to wait and see. But I think it's now only 2 seconds behind. Could we see Finkis taking this race win? It's going to be a bit of a challenge, obviously, making the overtake. But if he definitely has the pace advantage right now. 1.5 seconds now, the gap. We have yellow flags as well. That is for Crossroad going slowly. He's currently actually running in P6, so quite a decent race from him, despite how it has seemed so far. Gibbo now into Anthony Noakes, the gap 1.7 seconds. Obviously, this rain is going to help him as well, as DRS's disabled cornering speeds are going to be slightly lower. There'll be less grip to try and be making a move. But likewise, there's going to be less grip for him to try and defend. It will make this a very interesting battle here. This race could get decided on penalties if Gibbo is able to defend it well. We might be seeing Finkits losing the win as a result of that 3-second penalty, but it's going to take a mega defensive job from Gibbo if that is to happen here. But we will have to wait and see. We also have the lapped car of Crossfrog just on the exit of Portier 2 into the tunnel. They might catch him in a few laps, and that would probably help whoever's in front, as lapped traffic will probably split them up a bit. Ramo gets a 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit lane line. That's the second time he's done that. But now let's look at Finkits, who is now only half a second off of Gibbo. He is gaining rapidly. He's gone into the wall, though. That's probably wing damage for the Alfa Romeo. He's missing an end plate. No, he's not missing an end plate. It looked like he was missing an end plate because it's black on black. He does still have his end plates intact. But could that be enough damage for it to be race over for Finkits? Could that win? Gibbo's losing the rear on the main straight. Through goes Finkits. Finkits takes the takes the race lead on lap 34. I need to have a drink. Gibbo is really struggling with the rear end of that car, losing it again. As he went up the hill out of turn 1, he's dropped 2 seconds already. He needs to keep within 3 seconds if he wants to try and win this. And it is not looking great for him. It looked like Finkits had a very big hit with the wall, but it seems he managed to survive without damage. So as it stands, Finkits has already pulled the 3 seconds that he needed. It looks like Finkits is going to go on. As long as everything goes to plan, which we said that about Remote, and then look what happened to him. It looks like Finkits should be able to take this race win now. Will getting past Justarini up into P4, although he does have that 6 second time penalty. He does need to clear. Milano's also gaining on Gibbo at a rate of a couple seconds a lap. Will has a lot of pace here though. Currently, on the last lap, he was 4 seconds faster than Milano and 7 seconds faster than Gibbo. It looks like he could be in for a chance to gain some positions here. And Gibbo is into the pit lane, I believe. Yes, Gibbo pitting. So that will change things slightly. He will now come out behind Milano, potentially behind Will as well. Let's see, Will coming down the main straight. He is going to go past. The pit lane does have the inside line. Gibbo does stay ahead, although on the exit, Will just able to get the power down so much better. William Talbot takes the P3 now, but he does have to clear that 6 seconds, which is going to be a bit more challenging now that he has a car on new tyres behind him. Ramo gets a 5 second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Keno gets a 3 second time penalty for multiple warnings. The two Williams in 7th and 8th. Having a competition to see who can rack up the most penalties, it seems. Let's have a look at the tyres. So it's not a massive tyre advantage right now for Gibbo, as Will has also pitted quite recently. But these guys are going to be gaining very quickly on Milano for P2 here. I'm not so sure if they'd be able to catch Finkits. As it stands, we're about to be starting lap 36 with Finkits now, so only 4 laps remaining. We'll see what times he's doing, but it doesn't look fast enough. More yellow flags as the Williams are slowing down. But yeah, as it looks right now, I would say that he has enough pace. They're about 3 seconds a lap faster right now, Gibbo and Will, compared to Finkits. And with only 4 laps left, they shouldn't catch, I don't think. But it could get close. Obviously, Finkits does have that 3 second time penalty. Things could get close. Will and Gibbo do need to work together here in the late stages of this race to try and push forward. Gibbo obviously just made his pit stop, is going to be on fresher tyres than Will, might have a bit more pace. He's going to be very eager to get past, closing in so much through the hairpin there. We will just have to wait and see. Lots of traffic for Finkits as well. Finkits hitting some traffic at the end of Sector 2. That was one of the Williams and also the Ferrari of Crossfrog, who is struggling to find a place to get out of the way here. Milano gets a 3 second time penalty for track limits as well, down at the Nouvelle Chicane. Will getting all out of shape there, and Gibbo gaining a lot, but not quite able to get past. He does have much better grip than the Mercedes. He's all over the back of him. Will losing the rear does keep the car going, but that is going to give Gibbo a chance into Raskas. He does get past the Mercedes, who locks the rears as well again. William Talbot really struggling now on those worn tyres. He does also need to get the overtake done on Milano to get that place. Gibbo losing the rear out of the final corner. Will goes back past up into P3. This is not what they need. They are fighting quite hard right now, and it is giving Finkits a chance to pull away now. Finkits did a 25-6 last time around. These guys fighting are doing 26s. It's not going their way. And also this Red Bull traffic is not going to help them either. He is significantly slower on those old tyres. Will to the inside now of Mirabeau. He's trying the lunge. He does get it done. Maybe a little bit of contact, but they have got through cleanly. Will now to the outside of the hairpin. You can't really go too wide here in the dry. Even less grip in the wet. They somehow keep it out of the wall. Through Portier now. Will does take the position on the Red Bull. Gibbo is going to be left to try and get it now through the tunnel and on towards the Nouvelle chicane. Is he going to be able to get that overspeed down in the slipstream? Probably deploying all his battery to the inside now of the Nouvelle chicane. Late on the brakes, he does get that move done on the Red Bull. He gets a 3-second time penalty though. He has to get past William Talbot on track now, losing the rear again. The Red Bull won't get a chance to overtake, but he is dropping off of the back of Will now. Finkit's now starting the penultimate lap of the race. He's 19 seconds out in front. It's seeming very comfortable for him right now. But this is the battle we're concerned about. Gibbo versus William Talbot. 4-lap tyre advantage. That's going to be worth a couple tenths of a second here. Probably close to half a second a lap, I'd say. At least. And Gibbo now all over the back of Will. Although actually, did Will have 6 seconds? Will does have 6 seconds. He doesn't have to pass on track. Will has 3 seconds more. As it stands, Gibbo will take P2 here. Will only taking P3. But they do have to keep it together right now. They cannot afford to have any sorts of crashes. P1, I think, is off the cards for them. 2 laps left. They aren't going 9 seconds a lap faster. Unless Finkits makes a big mistake, it's going to be P2 that they have to settle for here. But it's a question of what order are these cars going to be in. Can Gibbo keep up with William Talbot here? Can Will break that 3-second margin? Will Gibbo get another time penalty? It's definitely a possibility. I think they are both pushing their luck a little bit with the track limits warnings. But also, even one small bit of front wing damage could be costly enough to just drop them. As Finn gets now starting the final lap, it's been a race of ups and downs, to be honest. Remote leading the race by 50 seconds, crashing out in the end just about 10 laps ago. Gibbo inherited the race lead, but he didn't have much pace on those old intermediate tyres. He then pitted and has been fighting with Milano and Will ever since. Finkit's just able to control the pace out in front, and been a very dominant performance from him. 17 seconds clear of William Talbot as it stands at the end of Sector 1. Gibbo probably still eager to get this move done on track, but he will know that Will has more time penalties than him. He's just going to have to be careful to make sure he can keep it within the track limits himself and bring it home safely. That is the most important thing. 1 sector left for Finkits. He has driven an amazing drive today. Fought his way through the pressure, fought his way through the field, despite at times looking like he was going to be settling for maybe even only P5. He has managed to fight his way back, got the strategy right, overtook Gibbo with that strategy call, and he is going to come out of the final corner and cross the line to win the Monaco Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo. What a drive from Finkits. 25 points heading his way. William Talbot managing to defend from Gibbo here in the dying stages of the race, but that penalty is going to prove quite costly as they come across the line. Will is going to cross the line in second, but Gibbo takes third. Gibbo takes second. Will takes third after that penalty. It looked like at one point Gibbo was going to be on to take that race win when his teammate Remote crashed out, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Milanos takes fourth, Giustorini fifth, Crossrock sixth. Ramo will cross the line in a while. He's quite far behind. I think he's only actually in sector 2 now. He will take seventh if he reaches the line. Well, when he reaches the line, sorry. And Kenso will take P8. And then we had a lot of DNFs here, of course, out in Monaco. Remote, Ferrari Fan, Colorocco, BPA Tyrant, Derman, and Khalifa all not finishing the race. Only one DNF in the first 7 laps. And then it all got a bit crazy later on in the race. But there we have it. Finkits taking the race win for Alfa Romeo Sauber. Very nice performance from him, managing to capitalize on the mistakes of others. So there we go. Race win for the Alfa Romeo. Alpine and Mercedes on the podium as well. So there we go. Binkitt's, as we said, taking the race when Will takes the fastest lap. So he takes 16 points home as opposed to the 15. Gibbo on the podium as well, getting the P2 in the Alpine. He was late sign up actually for this race as well. Only joined at last minute, but it's 18 points going home for him. Milano takes 4th, 12 points for him. Justerini 5th, Crossfrog 7th, Ramo 8th, and Kenzo in 8th. Sorry, Ramo 7th. There we go. So thank you everybody for watching, and yeah, we will see you next time out. We have tomorrow Miami for Division 1, Saturday Division 2, also Miami, and then also we will have coming up in a week's time Las Vegas Sprint here for Wicked Wednesday. So we will see you next